What's up, guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we're doing the 20 win Crown Championship Challenge, showing off the replays. It did take me a few more tries than I would have wanted, but I switched to this hog deck that I believe SoKing made, or maybe he saw it and then accuses us of stealing it. He actually hasn't gotten 20 wins with it yet, but I was able to. So yeah, this deck is really solid. The premise is really just, you have so many cards that are just really solid at playing at any time. So there's like no awkward hands with this deck. And then as always with hog decks, you really try to pressure the opposite lane, bait out their counters, go with your push when their counters aren't available, or when it's really low elixir, because hog is more effective at low elixir, due to the fact that the more elixir you have, the more adequate counters to hog there are available. Especially with its speed, it's good to use it in those situations. So I'll show you I actually got hard countered in the two matches that I played, so it'll be fun. But let's go ahead and get that 250,000 gold. Ooh, that's nice. And then open up the chest. It's not going to be an amazing chest, pretty small, but not terrible either. Tesla, Wizard, and 3 P.E.K.K.A.s. Not bad, not a bad chest. Alright, so let's go over the replays. I would actually show losses, as someone has recommended more often, to go over like mistakes that are often made, but unfortunately there's only one loss on my history, and I didn't lose it, even though that is a pretty hard counter. I didn't lose it because of that. I lost it because I got drag glitch. Like I was trying to place a counter to P.E.K.K.A. I think I Ice Golem to pull it, and it just wouldn't place, and the P.E.K.K.A. got to my tower, so I was like, whatever. I just reset. So first off, we'll show not the ladder matches, obviously. I played a couple in between because I was just wanting to wait. But we'll do this first. So this is a hard counter, obviously. He has Tornado, P.E.K.K.A., Bats. I have no Zap, and he also has Executioner. Just Executioner, Tornado, and P.E.K.K.A. are like the hard counters to this deck. So he starts out with Hog, playing down the archers and the bats, and then Hog in front to try to counter push. He did mess up a little bit there. This is like, I wanted to lightning this, but oftentimes early game, like there, it would have been bad because he could have maybe counter pushed. He wasn't able to. And I got the 10 elixir, so I went ahead and threw down this, but this worked out alright. I didn't think that Executioner actually was going to hit the mini P.E.K.K.A., so that was a mistake. That one elixir was wasted by me for the Ice Spirit because it would have died to Ice Golem anyway. But, oh, and if you're wondering about my clan, I was visiting Mortal Kombat because I didn't have 4600s to request for Queso, and I didn't feel like pushing. I ended up doing it in between matches, but yeah, that's why I was visiting my old clan. Anyway, so P.E.K.K.A. at the back. Okay, so this is really important. Yes, I could have hogged. I could have just hogged because you see P.E.K.K.A. and you're thinking, oh, his main counter is out of hand. But if you'll remember, I saw that he had Executioner. And that means that there's a really, really, really good chance that he also has Tornado. And if you just hog, he's going to get a Tornado to his King Tower. You're going to get one hit. But if you have troops behind the hog, and you have an Ice Golem in front, it makes it much more dangerous for him to activate the King Tower. He has to take out the Ice Golem and the support troops. He can't just Tornado. So in this situation, maybe what he could have done is Tornadoed backwards and then Executioner, but that's really expensive, and that also would have been fine with me. But he wouldn't have activated the King Tower. So you'll see what happens. He goes for that King Tower activation, and the Ice Golem ends up keeping the hog from fully going, and the archer locks on. I think he may have been one tile off. That was a little bit of a messed up Ice Spirit by me, but it'll work out okay. Mini P.E.K.K.A. still does its job, so not terrible. And I get much needed damage because in this matchup, it's not that I can't really defend his push. It's that he has so much better defense versus my offense. So that's really crucial to get any damage you can and capitalizing on like a single mistake. So I did that and I got a lot of damage. So next up he starts Bats to the back. I'm going to use Bats as well. He's staggering P.E.K.K.A., which is pretty smart. You should stagger it on the side that you've taken more damage on. But okay, here's the next thing. So once again, he uses Pekka at the back, and he really didn't have any other play. That's kind of what he had to do with his current hand, because I think his deck is kind of stupid. Like Executioner Tornado was the thing, but to throw in a Pekka too, and Electro Wiz, I don't know. It's a little bit of a weird deck, but it does hard counter me, so you have to play around it. I know that his Pekka is out of hand once again, so a push of Hog and Mini Pekka won't give value because he has no Pekka in hand. I know that he's low on Elixir because you just use Pekka. So what I do is I immediately follow my Hog with a Mini Pekka, which is typically a terrible push. But I know his counters are Tornado. If he Tornadoes my Hog to King Tower, or if he Tornadoes it to the middle, that pulls the Mini Pekka closer to the tower. If he goes Electro Wiz, it's instantly going to die to Mini Pekka, and he doesn't have the Elixir to Executioner Tornado. So that's why I immediately went Mini Pekka behind my Hog, because I had taken note of what his deck was, what he had in hand, and how much Elixir he had, and that's why I went with this push, which is typically not a push you would do. So he ends up Tornadoing it to the middle, but once again, my Mini Pekka would have gone and got a hit, but instead he has to play Hog to block it, or he would have had to play Executioner. Either way, my Mini Pekka gets shot off on that troop, and I end up fine, and I got damage on the other tower as well, despite him having Tornado. Because if you send in a lone Hog versus Tornado, you're gonna lose every single time. You have to take advantage of Elixir and manage it well, know when to go in. Also, so I push opposite lane here because he went Electro Wiz. And the thing about Pekka is you will still get one hit, and I'm at the point to where one hit is getting me within lightning range, so that was perfectly okay for me. And then here, this is a really heavy offense, but you just have to do your best to pull the Pekka all over the place. Right here, I think I actually should have thrown that Mini Pekka on the Executioner. But other than that, I played that defense correctly. I just decided to ignore countering the Executioner any harder than that, because I probably could have done it before we locked on, but either way, I wasn't worried about taking damage on that side. So right here, I know that I can play down Mini Pekka. He has no lightning in hand. It would have killed it anyway. But I know that I just have to defend, and now I'll get my opportunity to go on offense now that his lead is gone. Once again, I'm just trying to keep him on his toes, pushing both sides. He goes Pekka this right lane, so I immediately actually pressure with my Mini Pekka, and I get really lucky that he also plays Hog at the same time. But the thought process behind Mini Pekka plus Ice Golem was, if he Executionered or Electro Wizarded, I could Lightning for value, or not value, but I get a Lightning on something as opposed to just Lightning. So even if he had fully prevented damage there, I still would have got Lightning, and then it would have only taken me one more defense and one more Lightning to win the game. So that was my thought process behind pressuring with Mini Pekka, because I couldn't go Bats. That'll get either Electro Wizarded or Executioner. And my Hog was out of hand, but it had baited out a lot of his Elixir and the Pekka in the opposite lane. So yeah, it's really he has really good counters, but it's all about pressuring at the correct times and making him make bad decisions. I mean, one bad Tornado ends up losing the game, basically. I ended up actually doing a lot of damage to the other tower too, but yeah. Alright, so, and then we'll go to this. This was my 19th match, for my 20th one rather, my 20th match. He's finished the 119th global. He has almost 500,000 cards won, and he's playing he's playing Bowler, Guards. So Bowler counters Hog. Guards can't be logged without on an offense, and Inferno Tower. So I honestly, when I saw this deck throughout the match, I was like, I'm so screwed. I'm gonna be so pissed when I lose this, because I was 19-2, so it's like if I lost that, I have to do the entire thing over again, which I probably will anyway for stream. But yeah, so very hard counter, and yeah, he has. So basically, all he has to do is just all out defend and then spell and minor me to death. But I do manage to win this, and it did come down to like me playing it correctly, maybe him making a couple misplays, but it just goes to show that you can beat counters if you play really, really well. Especially with this deck where it's really fluid and you can do a lot of things. Also, take note that I'm playing pretty freaking careful. I'm not just throwing a Hog down at the bridge. I think that's a bad way to start games, because if I had done it in this situation, he would just play bowler, and then he has a bowler counter pushing for a +1 elixir. So it really comes down to recognizing what their deck is, which, I mean, I wouldn't have recognized this deck until I saw all of his cards. But I was playing really slow, just trying to bait out what his counters were. And now I see bowler, so I'm like, yay, I can go hog opposite lane Inferno Tower. I was like, oh, great. He has Inferno Tower and bowler. And I've already seen guards, so this should be fun. But bats will get decent value here. He ends up Electro Wizarding them. I decide to go Mini P.E.K.K.A, decent value there. It takes out the Electro Wizard and the bowler. Archers will finish off the miner, and then I think I decided to go hog here, yes, because I know he's low on elixir. No, I didn't. Okay, so that would have actually been a good situation to go hog, because I should have known he was low on elixir. I decided to wait, and that's kind of one of the situations to where I say you should play hog at... I think I'm trying to be really cautious. I know not to go hog now, because I know that he has bowler back in rotation, but I didn't want to hog... Actually, I know what I was thinking. I was thinking I want to save up the elixir and get a push going and then lightning hog. In case he played Inferno. Yeah, so that's what I was doing. And he ends up, his hand was awkward, he was scared, he wants to hold bowler for the hog, so he ends up just playing Inferno, which actually ended up being really good. And because of that Inferno placement, I can actually bypass it, and then I can lightning the Inferno and the bowler. Yeah. So that was actually really good for me. And then I ended up killing the Electro Wizard that he panicked as well. So that was well played by me. I stacked up a big push, then had enough to get a value lightning, as opposed to just throwing down hogs. If you ever, in this matchup, if I ever just threw down a hog, it would be terrible for me. There I blocked the miner with Ice Spirit and Ice Golem. But at that one point in time, I could have hog logged, but guard still would have killed the hog. Hog would have got maybe 1 or 2 hits. So maybe in the grand scheme of things, I actually ended up doing the better thing. But all in all, not bad. Once again, I go ahead right here because I know I had lightning. If he had Inferno Towered next to the Electro Wizard, I would have just gotten a better lightning, but of course it's still wasted elixir for him. He panicked and wanted to pull the hog, but I placed the hog in the hog spot so that Inferno placement doesn't pull it. And then at this point I'm like, okay, so he has rocket and poison. I'm like, I have to get damage somehow or he's just gonna spell me out. So that Inferno Tower was in an awkward placement still. I'll go ahead and pre-lightning. I thought maybe he was gonna go Inferno Tower in the middle as well, so that's why I pre-lightning, but that was a good Electro Wizard placement by him. He's a good player. He knows that he can avoid lightning if you place the Electro Wizard all the way at the bridge. So I only get the bowler lightning, but I do just kind of need the damage as much as possible. Hog gets a single hit, log for damage. But yeah, that's tough. Really tough. This match is fun. He's doing everything. He's rotating, cycling all of his spells. Another miner. Okay, so at this point, I know that he has rocket. I know that he has miner. I know that he has poison. Even if I defend this miner, perfectly blocking it, I know that a poison and a rocket is obviously going to take my tower. So, there's no point in using any elixir in defense here. My only hope, especially because if he gets a single miner hit, that rocket's going to come and end the game. So I know at this point in the game that the only thing I can do is to just bum rush, because rocket has a long travel time and miner's kind of slow. So the only thing I can do at this point is go all in and hope that my push is just a little bit faster than his. And that's why I go full on push. Bats, he ends up not being able to rocket right away because he has the Inferno. He's trying to buy himself some time. And the miner almost takes it, but I get lightning and I get there just in time with 89 damage left on my tower, and that was my 20th win. I was pretty excited because it's like I've been hard countered 2 matches in a row, but I still pulled it out just barely. So this deck really effective, really good if you can manage the elixir. Even if you can't, even if you're not perfect at counting elixir and recognizing card rotation. This deck is good for teaching that, and it's a really solid deck in this meta. Like it's good against Expo because you have these mini tanks. Against Expo, let me see if I have any matchups because I want to show them. I'll show a couple other matchups. So I also played against Tornado in this game, Tornado Hog. So this should be his matchup probably, but I was able to win it. So it's really important when you're against someone that's playing Tornado. Of course, I didn't know at this point in the match when I went with Hog to always try to have like an archer or bats behind your hog, because then it's worth it for when you activate the king tower, because you'll get damage. And if you get his tower low, then you're in a kind of a situation in a hog mirror match to where you can lightning him over time when he gives you value troops. And then I have to defend with my, I know he has lightning, so I have to defend with my small troops and then log the hog backwards, and you can deny all damage that way. Or mini P.E.K.K.A. Ice Spirit works sometimes. It just depends on the situation. So right here, and then I end up lightning for the win. Alright. Let me go through these real quick. Okay, Golem is a tough one as well. So we'll show that in a bit. That was a game I lagged, or I had drag glitch in. Okay, so this is kind of a weird Expo deck. So, but basically the premise behind playing against Expo is you play Ice Golem and mini P.E.K.K.A.s to block, and then you lightning it out, and then just do that enough over time. Maybe go hog sometimes, but I would really focus on blocking the shots of the Expo and then lightning it, log it, whatever you can do to get value and get some damage in. And then only hog when you have to, pretty much. But I'll do this. This isn't exactly a beautiful showcase. I think this player played kind of bad, but I actually have no hard counter to Minion Horde when I'm going on offense. So his deck, although odd, was actually pretty good against mine. Like right here, I just can't do anything because I have to get through Minion Horde before I can hurt the mortar. He should have waited and gone mini P.E.K.K.A. there, but either way, the bats would have killed it. So here, now that I know he has mortar, I'm going to be looking to block it, so I go ahead and stagger the Ice Golem. And he ends up giving me lightning value, so that's good for me. And so there, I get a decent lightning on the mortar. Because he placed it defensively. And then here I rush the Expo immediately with hog and archers to take it down. And then yeah, from now on, especially now that he's got one tower low, it's really playing in my favor because I can block his siege building every single time and then just lightning it out. And he actually, like, yeah, he panics here. Ice Golem plus archers do a decent job of countering, so that's what I go ahead and do. Ice Spirit unfortunately died to the fireball. I defensive lightning here because I want that mini P.E.K.K.A. not to kill my Ice Golem. I need to buy more time for my Ice Golem to block the mortar. He does get a single shot off, but I go ahead with hog and with the pre-log as well just to knock the units out of the way, and it works. The hog gets 2 shots. I was really surprised. I thought it was only going to get 1. But either way, I didn't actually need the second shot because I can just spell him out. And right here, bats kind of will it down, and then the lightning, and then yeah, defensive archers, and that's the game. So that was Expo. Here, Spellbait's a weird matchup. So you can cycle logs and you do really well in defense. And I think this guy actually ended up giving up. I remember this actually. But Expo counters Spellbait really hard, but because you can outcycle the rockets eventually, and you can get spell damage and they can't do anything. But anyway, in this matchup, it's really hard even with the lightning to get through to hog lightning and then to log as well, because he'll goblin gang. Your hog almost never gets through, but you do get lightning damage typically. So in this situation, I think, yeah, Inferno comes out late. I decide just to hold the lightning because I wouldn't have got any hog hits anyway. And now I have an elixir lead. If you can, always try to lightning like a princess along with the Inferno too to get more value. So right here, just kind of cycling. I know that I'm really trying to cycle because I know that his Inferno Tower is out of rotation because he played it so late. I almost pre-log there. You can see me holding the log, but I decided against it. I would have gotten more damage, but I potentially would have died on the counter push to Goblin Barrel, so I think it was okay that I decided to hold it. I take a little bit more damage here than I should have. But all good. Still have the log available for his Goblin Barrel. Take it out, and then for seeing Goblin Barrels or their throne, just watch the shadow. The shadow goes to where the Goblin Barrel is going to land like a second ahead of time, maybe half a second, but it gives you time to react. Also, the Goblin Barrel ikes higher the farther it's going, and lower the closer it is to the tower. Ice Golem plus Bats and Archers all do a really good job of taking out the support troops once they cross the bridge, so typically you shouldn't take any damage in this matchup. It's really, and the matchup usually ends up going really long because it ends up just being who rockets more, or rocket or lightnings more, but really if you don't allow any chip damage, he's never going to have a situation, because like every time you're lightning, you're going to hit an Inferno Tower or Princess along with the Inferno Tower, so you're getting a little bit of value every time you lightning, but every time he rockets, and right here I lightning the 2 princesses for an even trade in tower damage. But every time he rockets, he's going to be rocketing nothing. Unless you're misplaying and playing stuff at the back, which you shouldn't do once you realize it's spell bait. So, if the worst case scenario, it should be a draw. Best case scenario, you get a couple hog hits in and you end up winning the game. And I don't... Yeah, and right here, I just threw Ice Spirits and Archers because I saw that it was higher arcing and that it was not going to be landing on the tower. So right here, I get a really solid lightning. I misclicked though. I should have hit the tower as well. So that was a little bit of a misplay, but still value. I distracted the princess. Archer will survive for longer. Log will be back in hand. Value log right here, or value lightning right here. Clean up the Goblin Barrel, but yeah, I mean, basically this is just how this matchup plays. It's extremely boring, but if you play correctly. So right here, he actually goes all in with and I saw so he's trying to hide the Goblin Barrel, but he actually did get a little bit of damage, but I saw that, and now I know that he's really low on elixir, so I'm setting up for a full-on push. I'm gonna lightning, and then I think he just gave up, but if he had Goblin ganged, I still would have gotten hog hits because I logged. And then what I would have done on defense is I would have cycled back to Archers and Bats. I would have played the Ice Golem with the bridge to prevent a Princess from killing those things. And I still would have taken a little bit of damage, but I likely would have gotten his tower very low. And I could have just done a few more lightnings to win the game. I think he gave up because that match is tedious. That matchup is tedious, but I still would have won. Alright, so... This guy actually had Cannon, but it's not terrible because if he plays Cannon and Mega Minion, it's a really valued lightning. I beat him pretty soundly though. So I actually almost lost this game, but really the Minion Horde is the problem with this deck. But you have offensive lightning, so if you can bait out Minion Horde and then Hog every time he pumps for damage. That's a decent matchup, but I only have time for like one more, so let's go ahead and show the Golem matchup. Golem can be difficult because you have no defense, and you actually have no no Ice Wizard or Electro Wizard, which isn't terrible because you're not super weak. You're weak to lightning with those cards, but you have no defense versus Golem. So, and right here I actually had a terrible hand. I didn't have Hog, so I couldn't rush him for damage. Theoretically, I could have gone Ice Golem, Bats, Hog, but I didn't know if Ice Golem was my next card after Ice Golem, so that's why I played Ice Golem just kind of in an awkward position. I was panicking because, especially once I saw Night Witch, I'm like, crap, this is Golem, and I wasn't able to punish the first pump. But Bat's here to clean up, actually prevent any damage from the Night Witch. Well, one Bat got a hit, but I think I just used... Wait, no, I go Archers, yeah. But I split them like exactly how I wanted to. So see, they splitted. If you can do that sometimes. OJ made a video on it a while back, I believe, if you want to check that out. Go ahead and pre-log there for the Goblins. And I actually caught him in like the perfect hand. He had a lightning, and I knew he was gonna have to lightning because he had used all of his troops. So he didn't have anything adequate left. He just had his spells, pump, spells and pump. So that was good for me. Right here, I'm back to lightning, so I can go ahead and lightning his pump. He will have a small elixir lead, but that's okay for me. I know at this point, before he'd even... I already knew he was playing Golem based off his cards, so I'm full on ready to play defense here. I don't have Hog in hand, so I obviously can't pressure. Like, this is a really bad hand for me, so it's really just going to come down to whether I can defend perfectly or not, because this push is going to make or break the game. He's either going to take my tower, I'm going to survive, and then I can win. So what I'm starting to cycle back to my hog at the same time. I don't really care what that hog does. I just want to get pressure. Unfortunately, his goblins get a lot of value, but really I have these archers down. And even if he saves up for lightning, the only thing he's going to hit is my mini P.E.K.K.A. really. And my mini P.E.K.K.A. still survives. And the bats plus the ice spirit took out the night witch. She was absolutely a non-threat because of how I managed her. And now I'm actually able to use this mini P.E.K.K.A. On the counter push, and he ends up having to arrows the mini P.E.K.K.A. or log if he would have had a log, and I'm able to actually get a value lightning. And the really good thing about that was I counter pushed with the mini P.E.K.K.A. that had survived lightning, so that was nice for me, and it made him have to waste more elixir on it. So once again, the main way is you block either ice spirit or ice golem the night witch, and then you bats her or archers if that's in your rotation. I actually thought he was gonna have goblins back in time, so I pre-logged the opposite side. But even if he had taken the tower here, I had gotten a ton of damage and I would have been able to end the game. So it's all about pressuring, dealing with the pumps either by pressuring with hog or lightning in them, or using lightning on them. Another tip is if they pump especially in the middle, or if they pump on either sides, you can hog, and then if they have something like Mega Minion or Mini P.E.K.K.A. and you can lightning both of them if you hog on the side of the pump. Early in the game, but only lightning hog if they give you a second target that's value, like Night Witch, Mini P.E.K.K.A., Electro Wiz, Ice Wizard, maybe Knight, maybe Baby Dragon. Those are a little bit more sketchy because they don't straight up die. But yeah, so those are the other ones. So I hope you guys. I'm sure some of you have already won. I think the first day they said like a little over 2,000 people or almost 3,000. I don't remember qualified, but here I am the second day qualifying. Finally. And then, yeah, I hope you don't get hard countered repeatedly. And if you're using this deck, I hope I helped you. And good luck. And see you guys next video.